Hello? Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, one more time. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So before I start, everyone is kind of sitting all over the room, and it makes me feel a little scared. So if you can everyone who is sitting in the back, please come forward. Please come closer, closer. So everyone is sitting together. Is that okay? Yeah, please come. I will give you 30 seconds. 30초. Go! Hello. Okay, good. So, hi everyone. Just to introduce myself, my name is Lisa, and it is a great honor to come and speak to you all this morning. I heard a lot of great things about you guys. I heard you guys are really smart and interested in English and in other cultures. So I'm excited to share with you about my own as well. So today we will be talking a little bit about Taiwan, but first, more about me. This is me, yeah, woo! So this is me in Jeju, and here in Seoul, and also in the Pyeongchang Olympics. So I have been in Korea for almost 2 years now, and I teach at Chungbuk National University High School, Chungbukdae 사대부고. So these are a few pictures of me with my students. They're really cute. They're sometimes great students and sometimes not so great students. But I love them nonetheless. They're really creative, and they're quiet and shy, but I enjoy teaching English to them. Actually, this bottom right picture with the 4 girls with the hats, they were doing their speaking test. And most recently, for my speaking test, I asked students to take any song and change the lyrics to English lyrics, and they had to perform their new song in front of their class. So for example, this team was really creative. They took the song Love Yourself by Justin Bieber. Do you know Love Yourself by Justin Bieber?
Yeah.
Yes? So baby, you should go and love yourself. So they changed the lyrics, and they started talking about something else, and they sang it, and they pretended to play the guitar on stage. So really creative. Yeah, so these are my students. A little bit about my hobbies. Since I arrived in Korea, I have been learning a lot of Korean. So I love learning Korean. So 한국말도 조금 할 줄 알아요. And so I love learning Korean. I think it's a really interesting language. So 열심히 공부하고 있어요. And so I go to language exchange, 언어 교환 모임, and we speak in both English and in Korean. So if you want, you can also speak to me in Korean, and we can have a conversation. Besides Korean, I also love to go to the 노래방, actually. So when I go to the 노래방, I always sing Korean songs or Korean rap songs. So because of that, my students asked me to rap with them at the school festival last year. So this is me and 3 of my students last year. We rapped at the school festival in 계시문화관 in Chungbukdae. So it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. And then also I love to go to cafes in Korea with my friends. Korea has a wonderful cafe culture, so I always love to explore different cafes and go and talk to my friends. Alright, so a little bit more about me. I was born and raised in Taiwan. This is me and my family right over here. Can you guess which one I am?
Middle one.
The middle one right there? Any other guesses? I'm actually the baby. I'm the 막내. So cute, right? Wow. So yes, I'm the 막내. I have 2 older sisters, and this is me when I was maybe in elementary school. And then I moved to America, to the United States, when I was 10 years old. So I lived in California. I am from California. I have lived all over. First, I lived in the San Francisco Bay Area for 8 years. And then I went to university in Los Angeles. And then my family moved to San Diego, where there's many beautiful beaches, amazing Mexican food. So I've lived all over California. and it's a really, really great place. If you have the chance to go to California, you should go. It's great. 2 years ago, I graduated from university, from Occidental College. So this is a picture of me with my family. So I have lived about half of my life in Taiwan and a little over half of my life in America. So I am a Taiwanese American. 대만계 미국인. So a little bit more about that. There's a term that I want to introduce to you guys. It is called first generation immigrant and second generation immigrant. What is immigrant? Does anyone know? Yeah, what is it?
People who lived somewhere and went to other places.
Yeah, very good. Someone who originally lived in one country and then moved to a different country, right? 이민, right? So first generation immigrant is exactly what this boy said, very nice. People, usually adults, who immigrated from their home country to live in America, right? Now, what is second generation immigrant? So they are children who were born and raised in America, but they have immigrant parents, born and raised in America or born and raised in the new country, but their parents moved from a different country. Okay, so for example, these are some famous second generation Korean Americans. Do you know who this is? Oh, amazing. Okay, do you know who this is? Steven Yeun, yeah. What movies or TV shows is he in? Walking Dead, and most recently, a Korean movie called Burning. Okay, so yeah, he's a really talented Korean American actor. Who is this? Do you know who she is? Louder? Yeah, she's really, really good at snowboarding, actually. So her name is Chloe Kim, and she got first place in the most recent Winter Olympics for snowboarding, and she is 17 years old, actually, very, very young. Okay, we also have this person. Who is he? Eric Na, that's right, famous singer, and Jessica from. Oh, she's not part of SNSD anymore, but she used to be, right? Okay, so what about me? Lisa teacher. I was born and raised in Taiwan, and then I moved to America. So do you think I am first generation immigrant or second generation immigrant?
First generation.
First generation? Raise your hand if you think I'm first generation. Some people like, first generation! And no one raises their hand. Don't be shy, it's okay. Be confident in your guess. Okay, if you think I'm first generation, please raise your hand. Anyone? Second generation. Okay, a few more people, and everyone else doesn't know. That's fine. So I am actually neither first generation nor second generation. I am a 1.5 generation Taiwanese American. So what does that mean? I found this quote online. It says 1.5 generation immigrants are people who arrived in the US as children and adolescents. So people who are not adults. Unlike their first generation parents or US born siblings, their identity is split. They are American in many ways, sometimes in most, but not entirely. So very interesting, right? I moved to America when I was a child, but I experienced so much of Taiwanese culture. So now I definitely say I am American. 저는 미국 사람입니다. But at the same time, I still feel fully Taiwanese. So I feel both fully Taiwanese and fully American. But some people may feel, I was born and raised in America, even though my ethnicity, my parents are from Korea or Taiwan. I feel more American than Korean or Taiwanese or Japanese, right? But for me, I feel both fully American and fully Taiwanese. So I call myself 1.5 generation. Very, very complicated. So if you don't understand, that is totally okay. Alright, so I want to play a short game with all of you. This game is called Two Truths and One Lie. Wow! Okay, so I guess maybe if those who can win this game, you can get a prize. Maybe. Okay. So this game, I'm going to tell you 2 truths and 1 lie about myself. What is truth in Korean? 진실. What is lie? 거짓말. Very good. So I'm going to tell you 2 truths and 1 lie about myself, and please guess which one is the lie. Got it? Okay, so Lisa's 2 truths and a lie. Number 1, I can speak Taiwanese fluently. Number 2, I have been to over 20 cities and towns in Korea. Number 3, past American President Barack Obama and President Donald Trump are both alumni, 졸업생, from my universities. Which one is the lie? I'll let you think about it for a second. You don't know that much about me, but you can just guess, okay? Just guess. Are you ready? Yeah? Okay, so raise your hand if you think number 1 is the lie. I can speak Taiwanese fluently. 1, 2, 3, 3 people think it's a lie. Raise your hand if you think it's number 2. Number 2. Okay, raise your hand if you think it's number 3. Ooh, a lot of people think it's number 3. So the answer is number 1. Wow, congratulations to those who guessed correctly. Maybe later you can ask for a prize. Okay, so yes, this is a lie. Does anyone know what is the official language spoken in Taiwan? Yeah.
English.
Oh, good guess, but no.
Chinese.
Yeah, what kind of Chinese though? There are many different Chinese dialects. We call it Mandarin Chinese, okay, 普通话, okay? Yeah, so our official language is Chinese, so I can speak Chinese, Mandarin Chinese fluently, and I can understand a lot of Taiwanese, but I cannot speak Taiwanese fluently. Okay, so a little bit complicated. So the official language is Mandarin Chinese. So if you go to school, if you go to restaurants, things like that, usually people will speak to you in Chinese, in 中国语. But many people in Taiwan, especially older people, they can speak Taiwanese. For me, my parents and my grandparents can speak Taiwanese fluently. And I grew up with the language, so I listened to it a lot when I was little, but I did not learn it formally in school. So I am not good at speaking Taiwanese, but I can understand a lot of it. So very, very interesting. There are many different languages in Taiwan, but the official language is Mandarin Chinese. So that's me. Okay? Number 2, yes, I have been to over 20 cities and towns in Korea. I have been to 24 different cities and towns all over the South Korean peninsula. And number 3 is correct. It is a truth. Obama and Trump are both my 선배님. So when I went to Occidental College, President Obama actually also attended the school. And then later, I will be attending University of Pennsylvania for my graduate school, for 대학원. And President Trump also graduated from the business school of University of Pennsylvania. So yeah, they're both my 선배님. Really good. Okay, so some really, really short facts about Taiwan. First of all, who can tell me where exactly is Taiwan? I know it's hard to point, but where is Taiwan? So Korea is right over here, right? Can anyone tell me where Taiwan is? Down. Where? Tell me where to stop. Where is it? What color is it?
Yellow.
This one?
No.
This one?
No.
This one?
Green.
This one?
No.
So it is this one right here, a really, really small island right next to China. So South Korea is bigger than Taiwan. It is 3 times the size of Taiwan, but South Korea has over twice as many people as Taiwan, 2 times. So South Korea's population is 51 million, Taiwan's population is 24 million. So that means Taiwan has a very high population density. So there are many, many people inside this small island called Taiwan. Many, many people. Very crowded sometimes. So Taiwan is really interesting because it has influences from many different countries and cultures. For example, many of the holidays and traditions and beliefs that Taiwanese people have, it came originally from Chinese traditions. So you will see lots of temples and lots of festivities. These all came from Chinese history because hundreds of years ago, many people from China moved to Taiwan. And so actually, most of the people in Taiwan now are ancestors. So my father's my ancestors came from China. Okay, so most of the Taiwanese people, long time ago, our ancestors came from China. So as you can see, we do so many different things like celebrating Chinese New Year and religion. A lot of it is quite similar to China. But at the same time, there's also lots of Japanese influence. So similar to Korea, Taiwan was also colonized by Japan, and I will talk more about this later. So if you walk around Taiwan, you will see lots of Japanese-inspired architecture, right? So this is Japanese-inspired. This is actually the Taiwanese presidential palace. So this is where the kind of like the White House of Taiwan. So this is also Japanese style, built during the Japanese colonial era. But Taiwan also has a lot of Western influences. So our culture is a combination of lots of traditional Chinese beliefs, but Taiwan is also quite progressive, quite liberal. 개방적인? So there are many, many protests, and freedom of speech, freedom of press and media is really, really big in Taiwan. So lots of young people and older people will constantly protest and talk about their ideas. So for example, this one on the left is talking about Taiwanese independence and democracy, and wanting to be different from China. And I will talk more about that too. And then the one on the right is a rally supporting gay rights and gay marriage. So Taiwan is actually the first country in Asia to legalize gay marriage, to make gay marriage an okay thing in the country. All right, so I have so many things to tell you about Taiwan. So we are gonna go on an adventure together, okay? But there's so many different things, and I don't want to just choose for you what to do. So I want you to tell me what you are most interested in. What do you want to listen about first? Okay, so we have history, Taiwanese history, Taiwanese famous foods, Taiwanese famous places, movies and pop culture, and politics. And then in the end, we will have a quiz. So make sure you listen very, very carefully. So which one do you want to listen to first?
Food.
Food? Anyone else want to listen to something different? Politics? Okay. So how about let's just take a vote between food and politics first, okay? Democracy, right? So raise your hand if you want to listen about food first. Okay, wow, everyone loves food, right? Listen, raise your hand if you want politics. Politics? Okay, so maybe we'll start with food, and next we could go to politics, and then we can choose the next ones from there. Okay, so can you help me click on famous foods? Hey, okay, very good. So, famous foods of Taiwan. There's so many different good food in Taiwan. One of the best things about Taiwan is food, okay? So, let me introduce to you some savory, some salty foods. Very traditional. We have beef noodle soup. And I'm going to test and see how your Chinese pronunciation, your 중국어 발음, okay? 연습합시다. Okay, so it is called 牛肉面. Can you repeat after me one more time? 牛肉面. Oh, very good. Yeah, so make sure you have the tones right. So this one just has noodles and vegetables and of course chunks of beef in it. And it's very hot and savory. It can be a little bit spicy, but not as spicy as Korean food. Taiwanese food in general is not very spicy. Next, we have something similar to jjajangmyeon, but this is Taiwanese style. And in Chinese, we call it 炸酱面. One more time, 炸酱面. Yeah, so it looks a little bit similar to Korean jjajangmyeon, right? But instead of black bean, it is made, it looks more brown, and there's tofu and lots of other different ingredients, and we sometimes eat it with cucumbers, and we mix it together and we eat it dry, just like jjajangmyeon. Really delicious. Next up, if you go to Taiwanese night markets, or if you go on the streets, sometimes you will see some street foods. This one is fried chicken steak. So literally like fried chicken, but just one big piece of it, and you just eat it. So in Chinese, we call it 炸鸡排. Wow, your pronunciation is amazing. You should all study Chinese. And then we have this also really traditional food. It's called minced pork rice. It's just kind of a, how do you say it? Just pork, and you add it with various spices and soy sauce, and you let it marinate, and you just put it on top of rice. It's quite simple, but it's really, really delicious. And we call it 卤肉饭. Yeah, very good. And then we have soup dumplings. This is really, really good. It is similar to dim sum. Actually, originally, it is not a Taiwanese food. It actually came from Shanghai. But now in Taiwan, there's a very famous restaurant that sells this soup dumpling. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called Din Tai Feng. They sell this famous food. So in Chinese, we call it 小笼包. Yeah, very good. So inside, it's just like a regular mandu, but inside there's a lot of juice, a lot of soup inside. So when you eat it, you can drink the juice while eating and chewing on the dumpling. Really, really good. But be careful because sometimes it's really hot inside, so you can burn yourself. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Taiwanese breakfast. Taiwanese breakfast is so delicious, everyone. We have this radish or turnip cake. So basically, we blend up some turnip or some radish, and then we make them into little small rectangular shapes, and then we fry it, and we eat it with some green onions and soy sauce, and sometimes we eat it for breakfast or for a snack. In Chinese, we call it 萝卜糕. Very good. And the next one, this is called fried donut sticks, or can you repeat? 油条. Yeah, so it's similar to, how do I say it? Kind of like a middle point between a baguette and a donut. So it's quite crispy, but it's very oily, but also light as well. And then lastly, my favorite Taiwanese breakfast. English, they sometimes call it egg crepe, but in Chinese, we call it 蛋饼. Yeah, so 蛋 means egg, and 饼 means like cookie or cake or bread. So it's really, really delicious. You eat it with eggs, and sometimes you can add corn or other ingredients inside. Okay, we're almost done. Do you know what this is? Oh, 맛있겠다. Yeah, so this is bubble tea. You might have seen it in Gongcha. Gongcha is okay. Okay, I've had Gongcha before. It's okay. But if you want to have the best bubble tea, you should go to Taiwan, because Taiwan was the country that made bubble tea. So yeah, it's really, really delicious. And then we have pineapple cake, or 凤梨酥. Yeah, so it's just a really, really small cake, and inside there's real shredded pineapple jelly inside. Really, really good. And then we also have a type of bingsu called mango shaved ice. Yeah, in Chinese, we just call it 芒果冰. Yeah, so can you guess what 芒果 is? Mango. Yeah, what is bing?
Ice.
Yeah, very good. It's ice. Yeah, it's really delicious, especially during the hot summer. And we have some very strange Taiwanese foods. Does anyone know what this one is? The one on the left? Yeah, 臭豆腐, right? We call it stinky tofu or 臭豆腐. Yeah, so it's really, really stinky because it is fermented, similar to kimchi and other fermented foods. So it's really, really stinky, and they fry it, but you can eat it with Taiwanese kimchi and vinegar. It's really good. I love it. Some people don't like it. I love it. Next one we have oyster pancake. So kind of similar to chun, but there's oysters inside. And I'm getting so hungry. And this is another very interesting dessert that you can find on the streets. It's called 花生卷冰淇淋. So can you guess what 冰淇淋 means? Does anyone know what 冰淇淋 is?
Juice.
Yeah, very good. It means ice cream. Does anyone know what 花生 is?
Fruit.
It's peanuts. Peanuts. So what happens is that they take taro ice cream and then they add this shaved peanut candy mixture. They shave it into really small pieces. They add it on top of the ice cream, and then they add cilantro, which is another kind of vegetable, and then they wrap it all around this crepe kind of thing, and they eat it together. It's really, really good. Okay, so there's so many different kinds of foods, and I could talk about food the whole day. But I want to show you a video. Could you open up the link, or just go to Chrome because it's already open? Yeah, there is this video that I want to show everyone. It's about a Canadian couple going to a Taiwanese night market to eat many different Taiwanese foods. No worries. Oh. And if you could, oh. You can't really hear them, but they're at a very big night market in Taipei, and they're excited. Ba wan, or Taiwanese meatballs.
Oh wow. Sweet, savory banana and cream sour sauce. Oh yes. Oh, there's meat in here. Wow. Come on. Stinky tofu.
Chuidubu, stinky tofu.
You can smell this from a mile away. Yep. Oh my god, it's so pungent. Alright, that's how everything was. Wow, that is delicious. Oh, I can taste the smell now. Very well. That sauce. Vinegar sauce.
This was supposed to be a lot stinkier than I expected. This is not that stinky. I am disappointed in your lack of stinkiness, Stinky Tofu.
I'm not disappointed.
She likes it, but he does not like it.
Too much.
Disappointed.
I would like to try something else, please, sir. Whoa, you're really digging in there. Boom chow ping. Oh my god. I mean, it's so sweet.
Is it garlicky?
It's like they have cloves in there as well. Like, it's like a hamburger bun inside this like beautiful sesame bun of crispiness. Oh yeah, look how dense that is. Fried chicken steak. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh god.
peanut ice cream wrap.
Is that right? Never again. So this is a spring roll, shaved coffee with cilantro and
Ice cream, peanut, brittle, and cilantro. Wrap it together.
Oh my god. Oh, that coffee with the spring roll and ice cream. Cilantro and ice cream. I can't believe this exists. I'm so happy with my life. Taiwan, why haven't I visited you sooner? You are a wonderland of mysterious, delicious food, and I love you. I love you, Taiwan. I love you so. You have your own.
Okay, let's stop the video there. Okay, wow. 맛있죠? It looks really delicious, right? Okay, so let's go back to the main menu. Right there. Yeah, great. Good. So can you click the home button? Just the home button. Yeah, perfect. So that was all about food. Next, let's talk about politics. Ooh, very juicy. Okay, politics of Taiwan. So I'm sure you are all very curious. So if you do a Google search, a YouTube search of Taiwan #1, you will see this. So many gaming videos, Taiwan #1. Maybe you heard about Zui from Twice. A couple years ago, there was a big event, a big scandal about her Taiwanese identity because she said she was from Taiwan, and then some people got very angry, right? What is up with all of that? So many questions, right? So let me explain to you. First of all, what is the difference between China and Taiwan? So many differences and similarities. Earlier I said Taiwan has a lot of Chinese culture and traditions and holidays, right? But there's also many differences. First of all, government. What kind of government does China have? What kind of government? What kind of party system do they have?
Not democracy.
Not a democracy, good. It's mostly communist, right? So no freedom of speech, no freedom of press. Many things is controlled very strictly by the government. But what kind of government does Taiwan have?
Democracy.
Democracy, correct. Yeah, so we have separate governments, different presidents, different parties. Everything is completely separate, okay? Next, we have language. So the official language in China and Taiwan is the same. It's both 中国语, 普通话, right? Chinese. But in China, there are many, many different Chinese dialects. So if you go to different parts of China, they will speak different dialects. And in Taiwan, some people speak Taiwanese too. And our Chinese pronunciation, our satori, is very different from the Chinese pronunciation in China. We can understand each other, but our satori, really, really different. So my Chinese pronunciation is Taiwanese, and when I speak to a Chinese person, when they hear me, they're like, you're from Taiwan. I can hear your satori. Very, very obvious. Our economy, very, very different. Taiwan is a very free economy, and we also have our own industries as well. Ethnicity. So, very interesting. Taiwan, like I said before, most of us, our ancestors came from China. But actually, and maybe I'll talk more about this later, before Chinese people came from China to Taiwan, there were many Aboriginal people, 原住民, in Taiwan. So actually, when Chinese people moved from China to Taiwan, they had babies with a lot of the Aboriginal people. And also, many people from the Netherlands, from Spain, from Portugal, also came to Taiwan to colonize Taiwan. So, some Taiwanese people have a little bit of Portuguese, Dutch, and Spanish blood as well. So actually, many Taiwanese people, we look very Asian. We have like a 동양 얼굴, but at the same time, we have a very complicated ethnicity mix. So for me, actually, my grandmother has blue eyes. My grandmother has a little bit of blue eyes, so we think maybe long time ago, maybe she has some Western blood in her too, okay? Culture. China has their own culture. Taiwan has a very, very different kind of culture too. If you go to China and experience their culture, and you come to Taiwan and experience Taiwanese culture, you will find many, many differences. Some similarities. We also respect hierarchy, similar to Korea, but not as much as Korea too. We have many of the similar traditions, but we also have different kinds of traditions. We have slight alterations, slight different interpretations. Etiquettes and manners. Chinese etiquette and manners, very, very different from Taiwanese etiquette and manners. Actually, some people will feel like Taiwanese etiquette and manners is quite similar to American etiquette and manners. Very free, very open-minded, very liberal. Especially in the Chinese language in Taiwan, we have a little bit of like 반말 and 존댓말, but not as much as in Korean. So that means when we speak to each other, when we speak to older people, when we speak to our parents, we try to be respectful, but at the same time, it is also quite straightforward, like English, like in American English. Okay. So a little bit more. Maybe you saw this when you were watching the Olympics. If you watch the Olympics, there is no Taiwan. There's no Taiwan. There is only something called Chinese Taipei. Why is that? It's because China is very big and powerful, has a lot of power, right? So they don't want Taiwan to say, oh, we are Taiwan, we are independent country. So they want to make sure Taiwan has a different name. So when Taiwan goes to the Olympics, they have to call themselves Chinese Taipei because they want to show that there is a connection with China. China is very, very powerful, and they don't want other countries to say, oh, Taiwan is independent. Taiwan has their own nation. So they say, no, you need to call yourselves Chinese Taipei. So actually, in 2008, where was the Summer Olympics held? 2008. Yeah, very good. Wow, you are on top of it. Good job. It was held in Beijing, right? So some Taiwanese people went to Beijing to support the Taiwanese sports teams, but they would bring their Taiwanese flags. And they bring it to the stadium and say, yeah, go Taiwan. But then when people in China, they see the Taiwanese flag, they're like, oh, no. And they would kick out. They would tell the Taiwanese fans to get out of the stadium. They say, you cannot fly your Taiwanese flag, and you have to fly the Chinese Taipei flag, which is not our country's flag. This is not our country's flag. It is just made for the Olympics. Okay. So as you can see, Taiwan is an independent country, but because China is so powerful, they don't want to recognize Taiwan's independence. So actually, in the whole world, do you know how many countries are there in the whole world? How many countries? Estimates. About 200 countries in the whole world. But out of the 200 countries, only 17 countries officially recognize Taiwan's independence. Maybe many people think they know, oh yes, Taiwan, very different from China. They know that, but officially they cannot say that. Because if they say that, China will say, oh, no more trading. We will not have relations with you. And China has a very big economy, very, very big, powerful system, so no one wants to make China angry, right? So that is why. With Zhiwi's controversy, her Chinese name is Zhou Ziyu, Zhiwi. So with her, she said, oh, I am from Taiwan, I am a Taiwanese person. But a lot of Chinese fans were very angry and they say, no, you are not from Taiwan. You are Chinese, you are from China. So they got very angry and they said, okay, we will not let twice come to China. So JYP said to Zhiwi, you need to apologize. You need to say that China and Taiwan is the same country. So China will not be mad at us, and maybe twice can go to China to perform. So Zhiwi, at the time, she was maybe 15 years old, 16 years old, really, really young. She had to say an apology. She had to say, oh, I'm really sorry, China and Taiwan, same country. I am so sorry for my mistake. So because of that, many Taiwanese people got so angry because a young girl, she is not an adult, a young girl, she was bullied by Chinese people and said, oh, I'm not Taiwanese, I'm Chinese. So it's a very complicated situation, but in general, I hope you can remember that China and Taiwan are very, very different countries. And please do not tell a Taiwanese person, you are a Chinese person. No, do not say that. If you say that, I will be very sad and very angry. Okay, if you travel to China, if you travel to Taiwan, you will see, wow, really, really different. There are some similarities, of course, but also many differences. All right, can you press the home button for me really quickly? We actually don't have much time, so let's see. Which one? Maybe we have time for one more, right? How much time do you have left? Okay, which is the next one that you want to go to? So we finished politics and famous foods. What's the next one that you want? Yeah, in the back over there.
Pop culture.
Oh, pop culture! All right, movies and pop culture. So I won't talk too much about this, but maybe you have heard of some very famous movies in Taiwan. So guess which one is a Taiwanese movie? The one on the most right. Yes, correct. 马尔松的秘密，不能说的秘密. This is a Taiwanese film. Yeah, so it is about a pianist, and it's a love story with a girl, and they were in high school together. In Taiwan, there are many school romance dramas. Yeah, so this is it. He is a very, very famous, very famous Taiwanese singer and rapper and producer, very, very rich. Does anyone know who he is, his name? His Chinese name is Zhou Jielun. His English name is Jay Chou. Yeah, very famous Taiwanese star. There is this one. 그 시절 우리가 좋아했던 소녀. You are the apple of my eye, or 那些年我们一起追的女孩. This is also a very famous Taiwanese romance movie. Maybe you have seen it before. And then we have 나의 소녀시대. Has anyone seen this before? Oh, a few people, yeah. Yeah, also a very cute romance drama about a girl who is really, really awkward and shy and likes another boy, but then it's about her love story with the other boy, this other boy. Oh, is that it? Okay. Can we go to the home button? Yeah. There's so many more about movies and pop culture, but we don't have much time to talk about it. Okay, next one. Let's choose the next one. We have 2 more left. Famous places. Okay. So there are many famous places in Taiwan. This one is the Taipei 101. Taipei 101. So why is it called the Taipei 101? It's because there are 101 floors. And it is one of the tallest buildings in the world. But this design is very interesting, right? In Taiwan, there are many earthquakes. Lots of earthquakes and strong winds, especially during typhoon season. So when they design this building, they want to make sure that this building will be very strong. So actually inside the building, there is a pendulum that kind of swings back and forth. So the pendulum makes sure that the building stays straight. So if there is no pendulum, the building is very dangerous. It would sway back and forth because of the wind, but because of the pendulum inside, it makes sure that the building stays upright. So it's really, really carefully designed. And during New Year's, there's always fireworks that shoot out from the building. Next, we have this place called Jiufen, or in Korean, I think you'd say Jopen or something like that. This place is close to Taipei, a little bit outside of Taipei, and it's really, really interesting because it was inspired by, it inspired this movie. Does anyone know what this movie is? Yeah, that one. Really long Korean name. In English, we call it Spirited Away. Yeah, so a lot of the streets was inspired by Zhou Fen. So the director, the producer who went to Taiwan, he saw this and he felt very inspired and made a lot of the things in the movie look like Zhou Fen. Okay. And we have night markets. So earlier we watched the video about night markets, right? So what is there to do there? You can eat lots of street food, right? Chidubu, you can eat 花生卷冰淇淋, the peanut butter ice cream. You can eat 炸鸡排, fried chicken steak. So many things. You can also shop for clothes, jewelry, and souvenirs. They're so cheap, and there's so many people there. It's a great way to experience Taiwanese nightlife. Taiwan also has beautiful nature. People love to go to Taiwan for the nature. Here we have this place called Yeliu Geopark, and they have these very interesting rock formations coming out from the ground. There is one that's really famous called Queen's Head or 女王头, and it looks like a queen's head, right? It's really interesting, but it's completely natural. Over the years, the wind right by the ocean would keep blowing on the rock, and then naturally it forms to look like a queen's head. So it's all completely by the wind, slowly but surely making it look like that. But actually, the queen's head now is very thin. So any day now, it's going to break soon. So people want to go and see the queen's head before it breaks. Yeah. We also have Yangmingshan, very famous mountain in Taiwan. You can go and you can go to the hot springs and enjoy some of the natural hot springs there. We have Toroko National Park, Tailuge, which is on the east side of Taiwan. You can go hiking there. It has beautiful rivers and nature, amazing place to go. And last but not least, we also have Kending National Park and Beach. There is a night market there, beautiful view. You can also go to the aquarium there. These are not real whales. They're not real. They're just part of an amusement park, a water park there. And this is me. I went to Taiwan in February, and I was able to travel to Kending with my family. So it was really beautiful. There's so many other places in Taiwan. I didn't even talk about any of the places from my hometown, but it's really amazing. Okay, let's go back to the home button, and we'll tackle the very last one, which is history. Okay, history of Taiwan. So like I said before, there are lots of Aboriginal people, or Wenjumin, in Taiwan. They were the first people in Taiwan, even before Chinese, before Dutch, before Spanish people came, and they still live in Taiwan today. There are many different tribes with different cultures, different languages, different clothing. So these people all came from different tribes. And they are 2.3% of Taiwan's population. And, like I said before, many Taiwanese people have Aboriginal genes, genetics, DNA. Okay, so Taiwan has been colonized by lots of countries. In the 1600s, Dutch, Spanish, Portuguese people colonized Taiwan. 1600s to 1800s, China, lots of Chinese people came to Taiwan. And then, similar to Korea, 1895 to 1945, we were colonized by Japan. So during Japanese colonization, Japan wanted to make Taiwan into a model colony. They wanted to make Taiwan into, a really nice, well-organized country, so other people can see Taiwan and be, wow, the Japanese people are so good at controlling and making a new country. So they built lots of schools, infrastructure, and systems for public health. But, of course, many people in Taiwan were oppressed by the Japanese people. So this is actually from a Taiwanese movie. It is a little bit about some of the Aboriginal tribes and their conflicts with the Japanese army at the time. I have never seen the movie. I heard it's very violent and very bloody and scary, so I didn't watch it because I cannot watch it. But I heard it's really good. But one thing to note is, one thing that's really interesting is, as you know, lots of Korean people have some hard feelings about Japanese colonization, right? And there's lots of sad history between Korea and Japan. In Taiwan, even though Japanese soldiers and army also oppressed Taiwanese people, interestingly, many Taiwanese people today don't have hard feelings towards Japan. Very interesting. There are many, many reasons behind it, but I think one reason is because Japanese people didn't oppress Taiwanese people as harshly as they did to Korean people. So Japanese armies, they killed lots of people in Korea, they suppressed lots of revolutions and protests, but in Taiwan, it was not that much. And then in 1945, we have Chiang Kai-shek, this guy right here. So 1945, Japan, they lost, they were defeated. So they went back to Japan, and then the Nationalist Party, 국민당 or 구민당 in China, they were defeated by Mao Zedong. So Chiang Kai-shek and his people came to Taiwan, and they set up a new government. But they were really, really cruel. In 1947, February 28th, very important history in Taiwan, there was a conflict. I won't go into detail, but many, many people died that day. 10,000 people were killed on that one day in Taiwan. And from 1949 to 1987, there was martial law in Taiwan. So at the time, no freedom of speech, no freedom of press. Many people who spoke out against the Nationalist Party, people who protested, or people who were professors, doctors, people really, really smart, they were taken away and they disappeared. So actually my grandfather as well, he was a doctor, he was taken away by the Nationalist Party for a little bit. And during the 1960s and 1990s, similar to South Korea, Taiwan's economy grew very, very quickly. So now Taiwan has a very big, it has a pretty strong economy. So it's similar to Korea. There's also, we call ourselves one of the 4 Asian tigers. Can you guess what these 2 other countries or places are?
Vietnam.
Not Vietnam, but quite close. This is Hong Kong, and this is Singapore. During 1960s to 1990s, these 4 places in Asia grew really, really rapidly, and so there was more education for everyone. All right, let's go back to the home button. So good job everyone for going through all of that. That was a lot of information, right? But let's go to the quiz and see if you were listening. All right, so if you know the answer, please raise your hand and try to answer, and we will have some prizes for you. Can we go to the quiz? So very first question, were you paying attention? Number 1, can you name 3 famous foods? Taiwanese famous foods. Okay.
Mango.
Mango. Shaved ice, okay, mango shaved ice.
And peanut ice cream.
Very good, peanut ice cream.
And smelly tofu.
Stinky tofu, smelly tofu, very nice, good job, wow. Okay, next one, next question. What is the official language of Taiwan?
Mandarin Chinese.
Very good, Mandarin Chinese, good job, but some people speak Taiwanese too. What is 원주민 in English? Different person, yeah.
Aboriginal people.
Amazing, Aboriginal people. Next one, how many countries currently recognize Taiwan as an independent country? Let's go for there in the back. 17, yeah. Not many, but yes, 17 countries in the whole world. Hopefully it will get to 200 one day. Oh, this one's a little bit difficult. Explain the difference between a first-generation and second-generation immigrant. Yeah.
First generation immigrant moved to another country when they are adult, and second generation immigrant was born and raised in the country, but their parents is first immigrant.
Perfect. Amazing explanation. Yeah, first generation moved to new country when they were adults. Second generation born and raised in the new country, but their parents are first generation. Wow, exactly. Were you cheating? Next one. What is the name of the place where the animation Spirited Away was inspired? Yeah. Yeah, very good. 九份. Name 3 out of the 5 countries that have colonized Taiwan in history. Portugal, Spain, and Japan. Very good. And there's also the Netherlands. Dutch people came from the Netherlands and China. Oh, how many siblings does Lisa have? Yeah, can you name them? Are they my brothers or sisters? Yeah, 2 older sisters. Very good. 2 older sisters. All right, so that's all the questions that I have for today. Thank you so much for listening. 谢谢聆听. So now I think we have a time for question and answer, or first getting to... Okay, for a break. All right. Good job, everyone, for listening.